Ah. Welcome everybody to this Midsummer Meditation. Thank you so much for choosing to be here today. So welcoming you all and welcoming you, Hakim. Thank you very much for joining me in this gathering.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, very lovely to see you. Lovely to see everybody. We are here to support each other, to remember that we are the great light. That's what we are. A Course in Miracles says that the physical sun is as nothing beside what we are. But when we're attracted to the physical sun, the physical anything, it blocks the remembrance that we are the pure and true light. So that's what we're about today, to help each other remember. The form of this gathering is going to be 2 10-minute silent contemplations. I'm going to introduce the first one with a quote from A Course in Miracles, and Hakim is going to introduce the second one. And after each of our silences, our silent joinings, we are going to open it up for your sharing, your questions, whatever you'd like to bring. And Hakim and I will do our best to respond and support. So, would you like to close your eyes? And let's open our minds together to spirit, to truth. The way is not hard, but it is very different. Yours is the way of pain, of which God knows nothing. That way is hard indeed and very lonely. Fear and grief are your guests, and they go with you and abide with you on the way. But the dark journey is not the way of God's Son. Walk in light and do not see the dark companions, for they are not fit companions for the Son of God, who was created of light and in light. The great light always surrounds you and shines out from you. How can you see the dark companions in a light such as this? If you see them, it is only because you are denying the light. But deny them instead, for the light is here and the way is clear. So we have 10 minutes now to remember we are the great light. It is always shining from our mind. And gently, let's open our eyes again. And we'll open it up for your sharing. We'd love to hear of your experience of that contemplation, or maybe you have a question about the light. It would be very helpful if you can use the yellow hand function, because then I can see who has requested to speak first. And there'll be something at the bottom of the screen, hopefully, that will allow you to use the yellow hand. Renata, thank you for starting us off.
Thank you for the meditation. And a question has come up here that the word light, because I don't have this experience of light, very rarely. So I feel for myself it's more like being awareness, or in which everything appears. So that is my approach, and I just wonder if there might be a difference between the terminology of light and awareness, of being awareness.
Thank you. Hakim, would you like to say something to that?
Yeah, I mean, awareness doesn't judge. If it's just aware, it doesn't judge. And in that sense, that is light. When we don't judge something, we understand it. We're in a right-minded relationship to it. But so what you are saying about, light isn't this earth-shattering experience always. And it's actually helpful to see that it won't be that. It's better to see light as the subtle, gentle embraces in your daily life on specific things. Like a slight truth isn't big. That comes at the end, that everything is truth. But the way A Course in Miracles works with us is slowly and gently. And in that sense, you want the light to be very quiet, very humble, and very simple. In fact, if it was bigger and louder, we would love it. Because then it would speak to our level. We are loud, big, obnoxious, let's say, our specialness, right? So we can understand that language, but love's language is very quiet. It 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 doesn't embrace our specialness needs. So in that sense, I love what you said about light, but it's better to see light as what is it reflections in my life, and usually it isn't everything is love right now. You know how love is reflected in the dream? It is that whatever relationship is in front of you, that you can deal with it lovingly and softly and kindly and even patiently. How you deal with things now is the light. So if you are in a relationship where it seems this is a problem here, this is something major is going on, what would the light say to that? Wouldn't the light reflection be, this isn't what it seems to be? This body, this sick body, this aging body, whatever this body is doing, this angry body, this is not the real thing. I don't have to deal with that thing. I deal with what is truth, what is light. And that will then look past any behavior, any form. So you want how the light reflects in the dream. And that is usually a gentle and very specific way, specific in the sense of it's not this, like spirituality is very simple if you make everything abstract and theoretical. But if you look into your daily life, where the work is, that is where you want the light,
Thank you,
Thank you.
Hakim. I'm drawn to another short quote to give what I see is very helpful to have as much of a panoramic view of the healing process as possible. So this is not to contradict Hakim, just to give something else as well. This is from the Course. A step beyond this holy place of forgiveness, which is what Hakim is talking about. A step still further inward, but the one you cannot take, transports you to something completely different. Here is the source of light, nothing perceived, forgiven, nor transformed, but merely known. So I see the majesty of A Course in Miracles as meeting us where we seem to be, showing us how to practice forgiveness, see the light, as Hakim was so eloquently talking about, gentle, being with our daily situations and looking at them differently, and having the satellite navigation that our source of light is beyond it all. And I see this as so beautiful and so powerful. Not as a bypass to avoid our forgiveness work, but to have a wide appreciation of the depth of this teaching and the radical nature of the healing process. Yeah. So thank you, Renata. I hope that's given you something to be with. Yeah. Okay, let's open it again for somebody else.
I know that not every Zoom has a hand gesture. I heard people say that, so maybe they can write in the chat too.
Okay,
But we have,
yeah, or you can try your physical hand, because there's not a whole rush of people. Thank you, Hakim. Yeah. So contact us somehow. Dean has got a yellow hand, so we'll go with Dean for the moment. Hello, Dean.
Thank you. Hello, kironJ. Hi, Hakim. And everyone. Thank you for being here. Someone said once that I think the problem for me is seeing light as a physical thing. When you say light, I think of light, physical light. When someone volunteered once, well, maybe it's not that. Maybe it's that in which I see. In other words, there's a saying like, if you're having problems with something, you could say, well, let's see if we can see this in a different light, you know? And isn't that what the Course says? It's to transform our perception of things, where once we saw hate, now we see love, like that. So maybe it's useful to think of light in that way. I don't know. It's just what came to me.
I would say very useful. Yes, the light of understanding.
Yeah.
Yes, it's bodies that see in sunlight, but it is the mind that sees in the light of God, in the light of our real being. And through that,
It's
we
even
understand.
it's even in the term enlightenment,
Yes,
to become enlightened, you know?
indeed. Yes.
So
Yeah.
obviously seeing through the, and it's talked seeing through the eyes of Christ, you know, seeing through the eyes of God. It's maybe just
And vision, Christ vision.
transforms the appearance of things, transforms the appearance of things, you know, like that. Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Dean, for your reflections. Yes. I see it as a trap to take A Course in Miracles literally at all, about anything, because it's about our minds and it's about pointing towards something that's nothing to do with physicality or duality.
Well, words are symbols. So what
Yeah.
is it we're symbolizing here? You know,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. 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 Hakim, do you want to say something here?
Yeah, A Course in Miracles says that the default position is basically the ego or the split mind. But it's better to see it as we're basically, our default position is the egoic state. So in that sense, everything like our perception is darkness. So light is like a flashlight. Like only we have a bad battery in the flashlight. So we at times we can have to see things properly, but the more we kind of like practice forgiveness, the battery becomes better and better until it's fully on all the time with the power supply. So it's light in that sense that otherwise there's darkness, and darkness is, I think that bodies are real. I think that there is something serious going on here. I think that there is a personal self that I have to defend. I think that I am worthless, so I need something to fill my worthlessness so I feel complete. That is the darkness. And the light can seem to be very far off from us. So one thing, even though if we say, I don't even have a flashlight, I can't even remember the last time I saw light, or my battery is weak, all we have to do is ask for help. That gives electric charge to the battery. Just that in and of itself. Right.
Thank you. Yeah. The Course says that every fantasy we adopt, we use to try and bring light into the darkness makes the dark even darker. You know, it's a completely useless escapade to try and use physical means to lighten our experience. Says the Course, we have to go beyond what the eyes see in the physical light. And then we can remember that we're minds that see in the light of truth, in the light of God. God is the light in which I see. And we all have the power to do that. It's the willingness. It's the wish to do that that's in question. It's not a hard thing to do, but we can be so mightily resistant to letting go of our faith in our senses, what our eyes see. and choose to give faith to what our minds can see, not physically, but with the light of awareness, the light of truth. Yeah. So thank you, Dean. Thank you very much for bringing your sharing. And we'll open it again. Iona.
Thank you. Recently I was in a priory and there happened to be a service on in the corner, and so I sat there just to have the experience, and they were talking about unworthiness and sin and stuff, and I thought, well, I'll just bring the light in. And then something dramatic happened. A pigeon flew into the priory and smashed into a medieval window and brought the light in, and I thought, oh. So I was just wondering, we don't bring illusions to truth with the light, but how, if we want to be the light, can we just be the light and not worry about what happens? As in, are we making the illusion real, or are we actually just bringing the light? And I started to worry since that experience.
Mm-hmm. Hakim, do you want to say something to that?
Yeah, I don't exactly get the question. Sorry.
Well,
shall I have a go answering
please,
what I
yes.
think I've heard, and then see if that's right? What I heard was a question about, can I just be the light? Can I just focus on light? Only light's true, that's all I have to do. Or do I have to be concerned by dramatic happenings like pigeons crashing into medieval windows? Is that right? Is that?
Yes, I mean, you mentioned about not bringing truth to illusions, bringing illusions to truth. So I assume the light is truth. So do I have to do anything about bringing the illusion of, the service and we're sinners and stuff to the light, or am I bringing truth to the illusion by being there in the service?
Well, there's no truth in Iona being in a service. Forget that one. This is a dream, seemingly, that the mind is having. So I would offer, we'll see what Hakim might offer as well. It is what the Course is saying is truth. We are the light. We were created in light. We are the light, and nothing else is going on. And that's a very powerful, valuable, and I would say essential understanding to be with, practice, meditate on. And most of us seem to be quite stubbornly convinced that something's going on here. And our bodies seem to be real, our experiences, human experiences seem to be real. So while that is our experience, there's still sometimes a belief that that's solid and there's a Zoom call going on. Then our mind is still operating at that level. It still wants to believe I'm a body and there is a world. And that needs to be corrected. So the Course talks about levels quite a lot, and it says you can't correct what we seem to believe is real with the absolute truth. Not directly, there's no connection between them. And what the Course gives us is this perfect set of correction ideas to correct this sense of I'm real and there's a world. So if we have any experience, we have to go through a correction process for it. We think it's real, whether it's pigeons bashing or eating our dinner or anything. If we think that's real, there's forgiveness work to be done because it's not real. And wanting it to be real is wanting to shut out the light. It's wanting to not know the light. So I see it as this beautiful weaving, as given, as guided, sometimes being with the absolute, because the mind is wanting to remember that, and sometimes looking at pigeons and seeing, oh, that's an interesting image that I as a mind am making.
Mm.
And there's this beautiful weaving that will perfectly bring us back to the real light through using the light of understanding to see the illusions differently. Two levels of light going on here.
Thank you.
Anything you want to say, Hakim, to that?
Yeah, I can follow up on that, that the world is always neutral. Even if something happens that seems to be spiritually beautiful, don't be always afraid of, making something mean something too much, because it's a dangerous trap. There are a lot of people who have great, psychic powers and have helped a lot of people, and they are still misusing things. That healer in Brazil, what was his name? John of God or something. There is a documentary about him. A lot of people can say, "Oh, he did this. I saw this," but some bad things happened as well. So it's a great example of, and the course talks about psychic powers. Like, don't take anything to mean something, even if it looks spiritually beautiful. And the thing about, if we are the light, we have to be concerned. I don't know if that was your question, but the idea is we are the light, that is true, but who is the we that are the light? It is not the separated self that would love to be the light. Then I'm saying, oh, I have a green card to do anything I want. I am love already. I don't have to look at my ego.
Yeah.
The idea, when the Course speaks in those ways, it is doing two purposes. It is saying the real you is the light, and you are still lovable. Nothing you have ever done can change that. Like, i.e., guilt isn't real. But the other thing is that it wants us to see how far we are from that feeling that we are the light. How many of us feel totally lovable and totally innocent right now? I'm not, right? So I am not fully within the light. In reality, I am, but I am not aware of that. So we are the light. It is us. If I take that in, this is my experience. It means I am forgiven. Nothing seriously goes on here. And in that sense, now I'm getting closer to the light. But the idea is also that once, if it was, when you are the light, it becomes sort of an unconscious process. You don't think of things. There is that line in the Course, miracles are not under conscious control. Because the self, we feel like, I know what I'm doing. But the real light and the real love and the real you, it is just a happening. It's not somebody who knows what they are doing. And that unconscious process, it just smiles. It doesn't take things seriously, even if it's attacked. Um, so even if somebody's attacking you, it enjoys the attack. It just can't take anything seriously. And so that unconscious process can't say to itself, what should I do or something. It just moves. Look at my hand now. It doesn't revert back to itself. It's just like this. It's a free flowing. It doesn't go back and think. Because what does it need to think about if it's already loving? We need to think because we are not loving and we are filled with, I need to defend myself. So we think. But love doesn't think. It knows. Or it doesn't think in the way we think, with the self involved.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I think we've got time for one more sharing before we go into the second contemplation. Razi. Am I saying that right, Razi?
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes, thank you. So I don't really trust my own perceptions and my own thinking. And there's a deep desire to know what's really real and what's really true. So when the eyes are closed and there's apparent darkness, just using a word, and there are not too many thoughts, just here, just being. So far, this is the most real experience that I have experienced. And, every word that is heard leads to more words in the mind. And I wanted to get some perspective, maybe if there's such a thing as a map, where the end place of the map, where the goal is whatever that is. I'm just using that metaphorically. I don't know where I am on the map, meaning, so since last night, it's just been more just this, just being quiet, just being here. And to me, when I close my eyes, life is more real, and I don't feel like opening my eyes much. And when I open my mouth and I talk to somebody, the mind gets very activated, and there's like a lot of illusions come up very fast, and there's a lot of quick identification with them being real. So I'd like to get a little perspective, if possible, just the experience. I know I cannot communicate effectively what I'm experiencing, but there's not a lot to communicate. It's just here, eyes are closed, there's just space within, not too many thoughts, just here. And yeah, I don't know if I'm on the right track. To be honest, even if someone told me I'm on the right track, I still want to just be here and just experience this more often and more deeply. So yeah, I'll just be quiet now.
Thank you. Thank you, Razi. Can I ask, are you a student of A Course in Miracles? Is this something that you study or practice?
I came through here as an invitation from Hakim, and I'm very new to the course. I've never formally, I don't even have a book to study.
Okay.
A friend of mine that I know personally wrote this book about the course, ACIM Decoded, and he asked me to read it and write a review for him. So I did that last night.
Okay.
And this little book, I can read in one sitting, but it gave me some glimpse, and I've been working with Hakim, having sessions with him, and he's kind enough to support me. But my background is mostly, I came my path through the Sufi path, and then non-duality and self-inquiry. So that's been my path so far.
Okay.
And my interest has just been to really know directly what's really true for myself. Like what's really true outside of a book, outside of what my parents told me, what my religion told me, what anybody's told me, including what I've told myself. Like what's really, really true. So I'm on that quest, if you will, of to know what's really true. So that's to answer your question.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, I would say that's perfect. Have a desire to know what's really, really true. And maybe you'd like Hakim to answer, as you've been working with him. But I just like, before that, I'd just like to say that although A Course in Miracles is 500,000 words, they are all supporting us to be able to be permanently in that quiet state that you are referring to, whatever seems to be going on. So the Course would say that life, people, work, things that seem to be distracting, that's our mind. That's not something else that's upsetting us or taking us away from our peace. That is our mind. So the full answer is not just withdrawal. When we think there is something to withdraw from. So it can absolutely, it's a well-established part of the spiritual journey, some withdrawal, going to the desert, living in a cave, all these things, absolutely perfect. But the Course would say, until we can be in any seeming situation and have that stillness and that peace and that connection, then there is still healing to be done. Because the seeming distractions are coming from our mind. And if we want real peace and real truth, we have to do something about that.
Yeah, I was afraid you were going to say that. I was looking for a shortcut.
No.
But I think you're true. You're spot on, because I did withdraw. Last few days I've been with my wife. It's just been like this. And I know in the deep of my heart it's not her, but it keeps getting triggered. But so I've just had solitude. But I know it's short-lived. As soon as I open my mouth to interact, the perceptions within will go and they blame her. Like, why don't you listen to me? Why don't you do what I want you to do? And it goes like this, and it gets believed quickly.
Yeah.
And the ability to just be here is not that strong yet. But having these days of quietude, so now when I interacted this morning, it was like, just be here, just be here. And I could see that thing happening, and just sort of witness, so to speak, and just not that interested in it now. The interest, I'm more interested in just here. And what I realized, that I would say I don't want to use the word I anymore, but it seemed to be so important. Like what she does seemed to be so before. Now it's like, it's not even important. It's just, and when I just make nothing important, all of a sudden it's collapsing a little bit, but I still, it's conceptual to some degree. It's not 100%, but it started happening today. Today she ordered some groceries that I don't approve of. Like she ordered potato chips and some other stuff. And I would have like, don't eat that stuff. It's bad for you. And today I was like, I need to focus on myself. And so anyway.
Lovely. I wonder if we can leave it there, Hakim, and as you're going to introduce the next meditation, are you okay with that? As we've given Razi
Yeah, sure.
some time. So just the last word, Razi, all encouragement to keep going. And the very last word is, A Course in Miracles is brilliant on relationships. It has such brilliant teaching on the healing of relationships. And I hope you will investigate, and I hope you will receive the fruits of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Hakim, shall we go to the second contemplation?
Yeah, I will read just a line from the Course and just talk about it very quickly. And maybe I can bridge in some of Razi's concern very fast in this. So it's from chapter 9 and section 5, the unhealed healer. And the line goes, the miracle worker begins by perceiving light and translates his perception into sureness by continually extending it and accepting its acknowledgement. So, if I may, if Razi or somebody is having a conflict with your wife or somebody else, you might feel that if you're continuing the conflict, you will just feel guilty. So you stop, you go into solitude, or you meditate, you ask for help. That is good. But the miracle worker begins by perceiving light could also mean that you accept that you're forgiven. That even though you misused something with a person, you get angry with them, you first take in the light, and in this sense it is forgiveness. And that translates his perception into sureness. You are sure that innocence is true and that nothing happened, even though you've been angry. And you come to this sureness by continually extending it, by continually giving innocence to others and accepting it for yourself. That's what that line means. So to perceive the light means nobody here starts off in a good position. We start off in bad positions with the ego, and we feel that we can't be trusted. We are angry. We misuse things. So first of all, tell yourself that you are still forgiven. It's very important. Only from that place of having innocence can the rest of healing happen, and that takes care of itself. But you have to come to a place where you understand that I can misuse something, but and it's helpful to stop with certain behaviors and go away from a person if that's the case. But it won't be helpful in the long run if you don't forgive yourself. And that is the first thing. By perceiving light means perceiving innocence. Okay, we can go into meditation, into thinking that no matter what you feel about yourself, you are still forgiven. God waits for you. He loves you. He wants to watch Netflix with you. He wants to play Minecraft with you. He wants to do your taxes with you. He wants to eat unhealthy food with you. He wants to take care of your garden with you. He wants to even slightly fight with your loving ones with you, but he will do it in a funny way. He won't take it seriously. Okay, so let's go in. Let's accept that light into our hearts right now for 10 minutes.
Slowly and gently, let's open our eyes again. Okay, so it's over to you again. If anybody has something to say, physical hand, yellow hand. Ulrika, I think that was a flash of a yellow hand, was it? Or not? It came and went.
Yeah, that's nice. Thank you. Hi.
I know.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that I had this understanding in the meditation that I always don't hear the voice of Jesus. And Hakim also told me I can ask for help. And today I sent like to him my ask for help that I need support. And then a sister sent me the link to this meeting. And I just understood there's help and there is support and I can trust. And I'm so thankful at this moment. Yeah. And the mind is so busy at the moment. My mind is so busy at the moment that I cannot, so loud, so I cannot hear the voice, I think. But that was like today, it was like a sign. So I'm really thankful. And that you let me in. Thank
Yes.
you so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's lovely that someone sent you the link.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Always, always there is help, no
Mm.
matter what difficulty we seem to be in, whether it's just in our mind, in quotes, or a difficulty that seems to be in the world.
Mm.
Then that willingness to acknowledge something else is possible is enough to bring something else.
Yes.
And then we have a choice as to whether to follow it or not.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. So I hope this meeting is helpful for you.
Yeah, it is. Thank you so much.
Hakim, anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, like the Course says, everything is an outside picture of an inward condition.
Mm.
And the ego, it's good to see that it's a desire. So
Yeah.
if we want help, we will have help. Every feeling we have is because we want it.
Mhm.
So, it's helpful to see who wrote the book. Ulrike wrote the book. Razi wrote the book. Terry wrote the book. George wrote the book. You see, who created this meeting? You did.
Mm.
Everything is you.
Mm.
And you mentioned, didn't you say something at first about hearing Jesus? You said something about that.
Yeah, I don't hear him.
Yeah,
Or I think I don't hear him.
yeah.
Yes.
If you hear kindness, and
Yeah.
this also goes to Razi's question of where am I on the map? If you are kind, that is everything.
Mm.
And don't take that lightly. Don't say that's just a small thing. No, that is everything. If
Mm.
you're kind and there's a quiet beauty in you, you hear that song of something, once again, very quiet. And don't think that it's a small thing. It won't be Amazon knocking on your door with a big, exciting package. I'm telling you, that's as egos, that's how we think solutions come. And what Jesus says, Jesus doesn't speak English or German. Ulrike is German, or in Germany at least. That's all
Yeah.
I know. And so he speaks beauty. He speaks
Mm.
quiet. He speaks very softly. You want kindness because kindness says that the ego isn't real. Kindness says nothing happened and that you are forgiven. don't underestimate kindness, even if you're angry at your wife or a boyfriend, all right, or at the TV or at the president. Still be kind to yourself.
Mm.
Yeah, such beautiful words. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you, Ulrika. Okay, open again for somebody else. Louise, are you trying to? Yes, you are. I've seen you a couple of times lean towards the screen.
Yeah.
Hi.
I suppose I just want to offer a flavour of where I'm at with my practice. So we've talked a lot, not here, but about the song and the echo. And I find that's a question that when I see people in front of me, when I'm vaguely awake, I'm asleep a lot of the time. But for example, if I see you, you are the echo, and whatever's going on is symbolic of what's going on in my mind. And anything I might want in life, I think, oh, like I want to sell my house. I want to get lots of money for my house. Yeah, but you don't know what that means. What you want the song, and therefore selling your house for a certain price. That's just the echo kind of falling down from the mind. It's all inside the mind. If I have an argument with someone, I'm beginning to see that, well, that's all me. You know, if someone attacks me, that's my mind. And if I am angry back, that's more mine. So it's almost like rats fighting in a sack, but I'm the sack. And that's symbolic of the fact that I'm listening to the wrong teacher. And actually, I'm not doing anything. And anyway, I'm not here and you're not here. Do I want the song or the echo? And the echo is often extremely enticing. Do I want that lovely bit of china? Yes, I do. What does that mean? It means nothing. It just means I'm asleep. So, and also Ken Wapnick's wonderful line, the problem is you think that you can think. And I can't think. So I love thinking. Louise loves thinking, loves working things out and can get very excited. Let's talk about nutrition. Let's work out what's good. Let's make these bones strong. I'm not doing anything. So more and more I go, oh, hang on a minute. Well, you can't do anything. You don't know what anything is. It's all inside this mind. So, oh, and the other one is, I'm sorry, I do jump around. I will have no other gods before thee. So if there's a situation, if I'm angry with someone, is to stop and just say, right, Jesus, and go to the quiet place and take all of that and just put it on the altar. You know, I can see what this is, but actually this is my brother that I'm painting my mind's anger onto. So there's an appreciation to the brother for being that, apparently being that image. I'm an image as well. So trying to just see the innocence and then just to sit quietly, joined with Jesus. And in my head, my quiet place is always on the lawns of this hill. And this light that's coming behind it is the reflection of God, that radiance. And to just sit quietly with Jesus and to just kind of, I can't do anything. I'm not even here, to just try and hand it over. And it's only at that point that I will then feel presence. And then I just think, okay, you know, we're connected, we're cooking up there, hopefully. Everybody's being, you know, having a party, seeing how innocent we are, all that sort of stuff. And I'm trying to do that as I'm walking my dog. If I'm seeing the beauty of the landscape, am I connected? Can I feel presence? You know, at the very most, that's a reflection of the beauty. But all of this is symbolic of what's going on in my mind.
Mhm.
I think that's about it. I could go on.
Maybe not now. Yeah, so beautiful. Beautiful. The mind is obviously very active in its healing intent. Yeah. And what I'm most struck by is, and I'll just come and sit quietly. I'll just come and sit quietly on these lawns with the light. Yes. The Course does say bring everything to the quiet center. Don't try and solve anything outside the holy instant, because it's not going to work. Yeah. Anything you want to say, Hakim, or shall we go to Cam?
Yeah, we can go to Cam.
Yeah, okay. Cam.
I'm Erica. Sorry.
Sorry,
I-
Erica. Okay.
So I don't know exactly how to phrase the question, but it's about fear of my brother, and I'm sick of it. And I think it's a simple solution, but I can't see it. So I was looking at everybody here and thinking, I'm afraid of all of them. Like, on the one hand, I love them, but they scare me a lot. And how it shows up in life is with Course Brothers, I feel I can relax. If we don't speak for a moment, this is beautiful. We can communicate that way. Razi, I thought, was not going to talk for his share. And I thought, wow, I can feel this guy. He doesn't have to say anything to me. Thank you. But so much of being out in my perception of the world, I'm just going to speak normally now, how it is for me, is there's bodies out there, and I'm worried that they're going to judge me. I want to make them like me. I want to say the right thing. I mean, it's constant. Even right now, I'm looking at everyone and thinking, nobody else here feels this. I'm the only one. But I'm interested in this fear of the brother because it stops me so much from being in sort of a more true, organic, natural expression. And then I feel exhausted because sometimes the expression might be, maybe in my mind, it will look odd in the world. Like, oh, I'm going to stop talking right now. Thank you. Oh, I'm going to give you a hug. I don't know, but it's making me sick. Can you help? Thank you. Thank you.
Hakim, do you want to go with this one?
Yeah. So first of all, I want to thank you for your honesty and bravery. And, you trusted us now, to not judge you. But one thing is, when the Course says this is your dream, it is also saying you can only react to yourself. So what the ego does is this disguising technique where if I'm afraid that you will judge me, it is actually my own judgments put in you, so I think it's you who will judge me. The fact may be that you are judging me, but if I'm making it real and reacting to it, it could only be because I made guilt real first, right?
Yeah.
So it's a displacement issue, and every problem is a displacement issue from the mind to the world of bodies, right? But I love that you spoke naturally, like you spoke from your heart that this is real for me, right? And and but if anything, I think maybe whatever we think, once again, that others judge us or will treat us is what we are already doing to ourselves. You know, whatever we are afraid of is already happening right now. Everything, even death. If we're afraid that somebody's dying, we're reacting right now as if that person, that fear is still there. So it is helpful to see, what is the sense that I believe I'm guilty of. So, the ego always wants to single us out in any way possible, whether it's good or bad. And you always want to take, like, one thing you can do, like, very quickly. It doesn't look like the best spiritual advice, but put it like this. If you're afraid, everybody else is afraid. If you are stupid or foolish, everybody else is stupid or foolish. How so? Because we all have an ego, and that's the real stupidity and foolishness. You always want to say that the real problem is not what I do in the world. It is what I do in the mind if I'm choosing the ego. So let's say terrorism. Nobody here is a terrorist. But if we are with the ego, we are terrorists. If anybody doesn't like what the Israeli defense IDF does, well, if we're with the ego, we are already what we don't like. If we don't like what Hamas does, yeah, we're already with the, make everything the same by making everything about the ego or the Holy Spirit. And even if you say, I love this athlete or this actor or music artist, that is also coming from you, from the Holy Spirit in you. So we're all the same. Everybody can relate to you. And don't believe that egoic voice that says that's singling you out. You can't be singled out in nothing in life. Nothing. The only mistake there is if I believe my egoic thoughts. That's it. There is nothing more foolishness than that. There is nothing more stupid, evil, nothing than that. It is all that one simple mistake that we're all continuously making. We're actually making it more than 50% of our life. I'm kind when I say 50, it's actually close to 98, but just to make it easy, 50%, So, but the key word thing I would say is don't believe anything that singles you out, that is making you special. And you can remember this line where Jesus says, make it all different by making it all the same. Something like that. Make this year different by making it all the same. Yeah.
Thank you, Hakim.
Thank you.
I hope that's helpful, Erica. Okay. So we have time for at least another one. Somebody would like to share?
I know Louise at one point had her hand up a long time.
Louise has just spoken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George, we have George.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Hakim.
Hi.
Everybody. I want to talk about yesterday's lesson. I want the peace of God. It says, if you could mean these words for just an instant, there would be no further sorrow possible for you in any form, in any place or time. Heaven would be completely given back to full awareness, memory of God entirely restored, the resurrection of all creation fully recognized. I thought I meant it when I said I want the peace of God. Apparently, I don't mean it. I'm sorry, this one makes me kind of pissed off a little bit. And if anyone wants to comment, please feel free.
Thank you, George. Thank you for bringing it. It's I see this as a really helpful question, really helpful sharing. And you say, I thought I did want the peace of God. And it's quite likely that in part you did. You wouldn't be here if you had no interest at all in the peace of God. None of us would be here. And this lesson is so fabulous at showing us what is needed to be truly healed. We cannot have, as Hakim was talking about the percentages, we can't have 99.9% wanting the peace of God and 0.1% not wanting the peace of God, because that just throws the peace of God completely out of the window. So if you ever experience yourself as George, if you ever react positively or negatively within George's world, to George's loved ones, George's colleagues, George's anything, George's government, something in George's house, if you ever react as George to something in the world, you are a mind that does not want the peace of God. Because you want to believe in something else. We only react to something we believe is real. So that's pretty full on, isn't it? That's pretty extreme. And this is what the Course is giving us. The map, the territory to begin to appreciate that the healing journey is. In another part of the Course, it says you will recognize the peace of God for by just one thing. It is completely unlike anything that has come before in your experience. So the true peace of God cannot be experienced by George, or the mind that has any interest in being George. So this isn't to discourage us at all. I don't see the Course saying these things to discourage us, but to be really clear about what truth is. Nothing to do with George or kironJ or Zoom calls or A Course in Miracles. Nothing. Totally other. And the Course, in its gentleness and kindness and mercy, is supporting us to desire to remember this truth which is in the mind and nothing to do with George or kironJ.
I thought that the Course said I only needed that little willingness.
Ah, yes, that's to get the
I
ball
thought the
rolling.
Course said I need do nothing.
Personal level.
Whatever I do, this lesson is telling me no matter what you do, you're not good enough.
Well, of course, that has to be a belief in the mind, because we give everything.
I'm just letting my
meaning.
ego vent for a while.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely
I just
fine.
get tired, man. I get tired sometimes.
Yeah.
But you see, we are split-minded, right? So who is the George that wants the peace of God? He can choose the peace of God, but then he won't, given that he's split-minded, he won't stay within it too long. So,
But it says just one instant. You only have to mean those words for just one instant.
And you're having the peace of God, but you have to say, if I'm split-minded, how can I rely on myself? Like kironJ was saying, it's not talking to you, it's talking to the mind, right? And so it's not you, George. That's why you can forgive yourself for not wanting the peace of God. It's not about George. It's about a mind that has two desires. one for a personal self and one for a unified self, let's say, being joined with everyone. So how can that mind that wants two opposing things be reliable to say, I want the peace of God? It's an impossible demand and burden to have on yourself. So what Jesus is saying, he's saying, if you wanted this, you would have it, but you don't want it. So clearly forgive yourself for it. Be as honest as Erica and you was as Erica and George was, and everybody's been honest so far, I think. So, but don't be surprised by it. That's the great gift that the Course does. It's saying, of course you hate everybody. Of course you don't want the peace of God. Because if you wanted it, you would have it. And so he's saying you have an ego, and our job is to say, I have an ego, I'm going to forgive myself for it. Now that changes everything if I forgive myself for it. And so once again, who is he addressing when he's saying, I want the peace of God? He's not addressing you, whatever your name is. He's addressing a split mind. And please don't hide away from you having a split mind. Accept it, because Jesus is clearly not making a fuss about it. He's clearly saying you have it. So why don't we just get on the program? Not that you're not doing it, George. I'm just saying that to say I have a split mind is everything. You know why? Then it's not, do I like Bridget, Durs, Louise? Do I like them as persons? That's never the issue. If all of us have split minds, how can any of us be trusted? We are all inmates in an asylum. We're all crazy people. It's just at times we are not. But this is how we're supposed to deal with each other, you know. If you have children and they say, Mom or Dad, I'm gonna date somebody, you already know that person has an ego, you know. So are you going to, you know, so just have that in mind.
Yeah, thank you, Hakim. That's such a good place. And I'm sorry, George, we haven't got time to come back to you, but it's such a good place to come to, that we do have a split mind. If you don't just know heaven, if you just don't know peace, you have a split mind. And this is good news to be aware of it, because then we can decide to do something about it. Okay, so we are now at 1:30, the time that we gave you that we would close. I'd like to say thank you to everybody. Whether you have spoken or not, you have been an essential part of this joining, and I give great thanks for that. And I'll come to Hakim just to give a last word in a moment. I will send the recording to you when I've got it on YouTube. I will send the recording to you, and you're very welcome to share it if you feel inspired with anybody else. And going forward, if anybody's interested, some of you here have been coming to my pop-up Mondays. There's going to be another one on the 21st of July, a meditation evening, and I will send you details on Monday. If you're sitting here, don't know anything about my pop-up Mondays and think, oh, I'd like to know, please get in contact, and I'm very happy to send you those details. It's a free evening. And it'll be the last one for a while, because from August, I'm starting to do some work through the Aleph Academy. Some German brothers here will know that what the Aleph Academy is all about. I'm very, very happy to start doing some work through that system. Anyone's welcome. Obviously, I'm speaking in English. Maybe not obviously, I am speaking in English, and I will be translated. So if you'd like the details, please do get in touch. Yeah, I'm doing more work in person in Germany as well. That's the way things are going. So I look forward to seeing some of you hopefully soon. Hakim, would you like to give the last word? Anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, acknowledge your fear of disappearing into the heart of God. Take it very slowly, forgive yourself, be kind, and don't try to do so much. Usually the problem is that we're doing too much. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Hakim. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a great pleasure to be here. So maybe you'd like to unmute and say goodbye or something like that as we end.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everybody.
Thank you
Very
very much.
much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.